Hi, everyone. So today's topic is what is it like to freelance or have a side business, a side hustle when you still have a 9 to 5? What does that look like? And if you're a web designer, that's probably how you found me. I'm a website designer. I am not technically a freelancer because I actually own my own business, but I will say it is very much like freelancing. It's just got a few extra, cogs in the works. Like I actually have contractors and people that work for me and things like that. Not employees, contractors, but that's where I'm at. So it's a little bit beyond being a freelancer, but a lot of the same stuff still applies. Because when you're a freelancer, you really do own your own business. It really is a real thing. So even if you don't have a business name or a business entity, which you should have, you should really look into LLCs. It protects you. So you really need to have one, but that's a whole other video. What it's like to have a freelance business, a website design business, is really when you still have a 9 to 5, is very taxing. And it's very taxing when you don't have a 9 to 5. I have done this job as my full-time job. I didn't start working a 9 to 5 until I got pregnant and was like, I need better health insurance. I need this, I need that. Like I just wanted security while I was pregnant. So that's kind of how I got into having a freelance business while working in 9 to 5. I had the business, I was in the business for like 6 years, and my life changed. And then I went back to not really giving it up, but really kind of downloading it, like just kind of doing things here and there for my existing clients. And then finally, I just kind of decided I need to make this a thing again. No real intention of leaving my 9 to 5, but that I kind of like to replace my income to have something reliable to hang on to. I am a government contractor, and the government has been shut down 3 times in the last 6 years. So, not getting into politics, it has been a draw on my finances 3 times. So it's not a huge, 3 times over 6 years is not, it's like, once every 2 years, not a huge thing, but it's a huge thing. So having a reliable secondary source of income is what I'm focused on here, right? Like having that sense of security is very important to me. Um, so that's kind of why I've been doing all this, because I want security, and it'd be nice to have the extra income, kind of pad that retirement a little bit, but that's where I'm at. So first thing I want to go over is, what is it like? There's not really any downtime. When you go out this full bore and you are just ready to do it, and first of all, choose a business style that it suits you. If you just want to kind of do freelancing projects here and there, you're not going to have this major time factor. But if you're trying to go at this like a business, um, there's not really any downtime. Even when you get further into the business, like I am, something else will always come along to kind of eat up the extra hours. So for me, my work time is between 5 and 7 in the morning, and then 7 to 9 o'clock belongs to my kids and getting ready for my 9 to 5, and then my lunch hours, which varies, but most of the time is like 1 to 2. I will sit down and be like, okay, what do I need to knock out? Do I need to do a video? Do I need to do a podcast? What do I need to do? And I get that done as fast as I can. And then I have a little bit more downtime between 6 and 6:30 or 7 o'clock, depending on my husband's schedule, when the kids come home. So I've got all these little spurts of time throughout the week. I don't try to do on the weekends because I'm a mom and there is no time on the weekends. There's always some other chore to be done. So I don't even try. Like Monday through Friday is what I got. That's what I work with. And if I don't give myself some kind of break at some point, everybody burns out. So that's that. That's what my freelancing schedule looks like. Now, next thing I want to talk about is you will have as many bosses as you have clients. So if you think you have a lot of bosses now at your workplace, when you start adding freelance clients, your number of bosses is going to go up by every single client you add. So what does that mean? It means that when they send you emails, they're going to expect prompt replies. Now, like I said, I only work at those 3 intervals. So I check my email in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening, and sometimes very late evening, if I have like a free moment, like the kids are asleep and I get a second, which I don't recommend doing because you do need to have your downtime. But that's when I get back to them. And as long as you respond to people within one day, you're cool. But it's when you don't get back to them for a day or two or a week, it's like they kind of wonder, well, what happened to you? And then you don't want to lose a client that you worked so hard to get. Like when you're first starting out freelancing, you need to be like super communicative. Like you need to talk to these people every day, or every other day, if you're depending on your type of service and business, because they need to know that you're around, right? That you are waiting on them. They're not waiting on you. Okay. Um, because it is a big thing to go out and get a new client. It takes 2 seconds to keep the client, even if you're just like, I'm just telling you, I'm still working on this. Okay, bye. Like super short emails, that still counts as contact. That's important. I will say the next thing is something I struggle with. And the people who work for me will tell you this, is that you need to stay organized. I am very type A. Like I really like to have everything good to go, organized and easy for me. But my easy looks like chaos to everyone else. And so like my inbox is a mess. My desk is a mess. You can't see it, but there's a big mess over here. Why does this keep going in and out of focus? I wonder what's going on with that. The organization really comes with knowing your strengths and faults, right? My fault is accounting. Before I got an accountant, and this kind of blurs this in the next one about being financially responsible. Well, let me back up. I'll do this one first. When you're being organized, it's so easy to fall behind on your emails and your client work and be like, oh God, I'm so tired. I'll just do it tomorrow, because there's only one of you and you now have 2 jobs, right? So what you need to do is always just push the envelope a little bit. Even if you are burned out and you just can't do anymore, write that email to the client. Add 1 page to a website, push the graphic just a little bit further to completion, like that kind of thing. I mean, like even if it's just 10 minutes, just do something, anything that you can go to the client and be like, see, I made progress. It's like, that's really all it takes. They just need to know that you are working on it, and then they will grant you grace. Okay. That also means make sure that your work is actually on a project board somewhere. And I don't care if you use Trello, if you use, I think it's called Asana, if you use even Google Spreadsheets, anything, you got to keep your projects organized. And the reason I mentioned Trello is because what's nice about Trello is that you can actually add in little notes and it timestamps it. So you know the order of events when things happened. And that is key, because when you're juggling your regular life plus the secondary life, it gets confusing fast, and you'll be like, well, wait a minute, did I write back that person? And it'll be in Trello because you did it, right? That's what I mean about being organized. Just be very trackable, like mindful about tracking everything that you have, right? I mean, it's common sense stuff, but like you would do it for your 9 to 5, do it for you. Okay. Like they call it like cover your, COA, like your CYA, you got to do it, because clients forget too. Clients are humans and sometimes they'll make mistakes, and you have to be able to go back and be like, no, see you on such and such date. Just do it. Having yourself in a good system of having a project management system is going to help you. It'll help you succeed. It'll help you keep your sanity. And as long as you just progress, pushing that envelope forward just a little bit more every single day, you'll get there. You'll find it. Okay. That brings me to what I started to talk about being financially responsible. Number one, don't go into debt for your business. All right. Now I'm realizing I'm giving a general statement across something very broad. I mean, it depends. Like if you are flipping houses, of course you're going to have to go into debt for your business. But what I mean is, like, don't go out and get a credit card and then rack it up with the thought that, oh, I need these office supplies, and these, just really only get what you need. Or realize that you're going to be funding this out of your 9 to 5 job. And just go with it, kind of like cash flow things as needed. Because if you go into debt, what's going to happen is that now not only do you have all these client masters, you're also going to have the debt masters, right? So you don't want to add one more thing for you to try to appease, right? And no, I have never had a credit card for my business. I will never have a credit card for my business. And I'll tell you that, like, when you're financially responsible for your business, there's another aspect to it where having a credit card could really put you in a bad place really quickly. Like, let's say you're in a position where you have a couple contractors who work beneath you or work for you for, like maybe one does SEO and one does copywriting and one does, just using web design as an example. Um, let's say you're waiting to be paid by the client, right? Well, these people still need their paychecks. They've done the work for you. And if you want to use them again, you better darn well make sure they got paid, right? Even if you have an arrangement with them where it takes time for there's like an overlap or whatever it may be, and they're expecting it, just make sure that you meet that, because you don't want to lose them. Because just like it was hard to get the clients, it is hard to find reliable contractors who will walk to the moon back for you. It's like, it's hard. So when you find somebody, do everything you can, pay it out of your 9 to 5, do what you got to do, but just get them paid. Okay. And it sucks to be on the pinch end of that, like where you have given half your paycheck out to other people and you're figuring out how you're going to make it, through groceries and through the rest of the week until you get your next paycheck from your 9 to 5. It's like those things matter. And that's a real world example about why. Okay. Because you got other people you got to take care of. In a perfect world, they would never know that you're having any kind of financial difficulty, or that people haven't paid or whatever. Do be candid with them, so they know what's going on, but not in a way that makes them think that you won't be able to pay them. Okay. That's really important. So the last thing I want to talk about is, if you are not financially savvy in your personal life, like you don't manage your credit cards well, you have a lot of debt, your student loans are wrecking your world, you go out all the time, you don't have a lot of savings, that can, like, if you are not like we all think of, Dave Ramsey calls them the nerds, like just the people that like are like, this is, everything's in order and everything's going to be fine, right? Like if you're not that person, I'm not. I am chaos all the time. It's just the way my brain works. It's because I have a very creative mind and I just go everywhere. Um, you need, and I wish to God I had done it sooner, to get an accountant. And when you first start out, you're like, I can't afford an accountant. You can afford an accountant. What it means is that you just have to be willing to part with your money a little sooner. Your accountant, it's not really an accountant. They're specifically, you need a bookkeeper, and bookkeepers are not as heavy a price as other accounting fields, right? Like a CPA, like they are bookkeepers. They make sure that things happen in a certain order. And I will tell you, since hiring Melissa, my bookkeeper, she has been amazing. So not only does she make sure that I don't leave money on the table, like a lot of times I just forget to bill people. But if she knows it's on the project board, or she knows that I'm working on something, or I've sent her an email, she knows, like, should these people be billed? Also, she has been crucial in me actually getting paid. So I used to have a lot of clients that would just go over 30 days all the time. It didn't matter if I had a late fee. The late fee was never implemented and nobody was afraid of it, and it wasn't great. But what she does is she keeps a accounts receivable report. That's what's called, AR report, accounts receivable report. And she sends it to me and goes, so these people haven't paid. Do you want the late fee? Or if I know about a special situation, I can type back like, oh, no, they sent it. It's just, we're having trouble with the mail. The mail is terrible here. It's terrible. And, it's like, she'll be able to point out places where I've left money on the table, because she sees it. And when things don't add up for her, she finds out where that problem is. And then she goes, hey, this person such and such, or this situation and this situation. And then I can do something about it, or I can tell her to do something about it. And then she does it, and it's wonderful. And it goes away, and money just magically appears in my bank account. And it's like, and she does cost $45 an hour. And it's typically, for me, for my size business, one person with 2 contractors is roughly, let's say she bills me every 2 weeks, maybe 4 hours a month. So I'm spending somewhere between $200 to $300 a month. And I know that math doesn't add up, but there's usually like an extra hour thrown in there somewhere. So sometimes it's closer to 5 to 6 hours. But that is also relative to the growth of your business. If you are doing a ton of business, she's going to have more to track. If you're not doing so much, I've had months where I get like a $45 bill. for 2 weeks of work, so that's just the way it works, right? And you can find accountants that cost more, you can find them that cost less. You know, I think she's completely worth the money that I pay her. Um, God bless you, Melissa. um, so I just want to say, like, don't be afraid to get an accountant. I wish I had done that so many years sooner. And finally, I just bit the bullet and did it. I was doing okay in my business. I wasn't doing fantastic, but as soon as I bit the bullet and did it, man, what a difference. I mean, like, instantly I just had money appearing. And there is a training period. You're going to have to go back and forth until they learn, your idiosyncrasies. It's like they're going to figure out who these clients are and, kind of develop relationships with the accounts and figure it out. So there is that overlap, that training, but it only lasts like 1 to 2 months. And then it's like on auto drive and it's wonderful. And you get the occasional question, but that's it. And then you only see the important stuff, like just making sure that, this report matches what you think it does, and, that you've sent your estimated taxes in, and then she can record it. And, it's like she just keeps everything straight, and that it makes her worth it. So that's my last thing. I wouldn't my point of that is that don't be afraid to hire people even when the kitty's low, like when there's not a lot of money. um, because typically you will make it back, if you make wise choices about who you hire and what you need them for. And specifically, like, I've heard people say, I got a VA, a virtual assistant, and suddenly, I just was just doing all kinds of business. And usually that kind of is the catalyst, because remember, we are one person, right? And we're one person with a very limited amount of time because we're doing this on the side. And when we hire out, you know, someone help us build a website, or we hire out someone help us with accounting, or we hire out someone help us with application development or SEO or whatever it might be. When we do that, yes, we are losing money, but we are moving the business forward. So if you're just starting out, don't expect to make a lot of money, because you are going to be establishing the foundation for your business. And once you're done establishing that foundation, then upon that, you grow. So those are my tips. That is what it's really like to run a 9 to 5 or work 9 to 5 while running a side business, or being a freelancer, however you want to phrase it. And it's hard, it's tiring, and you really kind of have to have the mentality for it, but it's also very worth it. It's nice having that security behind me. So that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. If you have questions, do put a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I do vlogs every week, accountability vlogs. So if you want to see what it's like to have goals as a website designer and what those goals are as I grow my business, that's what that is. It's just me literally going week by week by week, being like, this is what I want to accomplish. This is what I actually accomplished. And this is how I want to grow my business going forward. And I invite you guys to put stuff in the comments, because I'm very active on YouTube. So I can respond to questions really quick. So that's it. All right. Take care.